You are standing in the pew, hands raised, mouthing all the right words along with everyone else around you. From the outside, you look settled, maybe even strong. But underneath, one question keeps circling back. A question you have never said out loud to a single person in that building. Maybe it is why a loved one is still sick despite months of praying. Maybe it is why a certain door never opened, even though everyone told you it was God's plan. So you smile and say, I am blessed, because admitting anything else feels like spiritual failure. Welcome back to Rooted Daily, where we talk honestly about what real faith actually looks like. Today we are talking about doubt and the surprising truth that God is not looking for people who never question Him. He is looking for people who bring Him their real questions instead of a performance. Faith was never meant to be the absence of doubt. It was always meant to be what you do with your doubt, whether you carry it quietly and eventually walk away, or whether you carry it straight to God and stay in the conversation. Scripture is full of people who chose to stay. Start with a father in the Gospel of Mark chapter 9. His son has suffered for years, thrown to the ground by convulsions he cannot control, and this father has already watched other people try and fail to help him. He comes to Jesus worn thin, hope and fear tangled together. Jesus tells him that everything is possible for the one who believes, and the father does not perform a confidence he does not have. He cries out right there in front of everyone that he does believe, and he needs help with the unbelief still tangled up inside him. Jesus does not lecture him for that honesty. He does not tell him to come back once his faith is cleaner or stronger. He simply heals the boy right there, meeting a mixed and imperfect faith with real power, because the Father brought him the truth instead of a mask. That is what it looks like at your own kitchen table too. The moment you stop rehearsing the right answer and just tell God what is actually true. I believe, and some days I barely do. That sentence has never once scared him away from you. There is another honest doubter in the Gospels, one you probably already know by nickname. Thomas was not in the room the first time the risen Jesus appeared to the other disciples, and when they told him what they had seen, he was not ready to simply take their word for it. Thomas said plainly that unless he saw the mark of the nails himself and put his hand where the spear had pierced Jesus' side, he would not believe. That is not quiet, polite doubt. That is a man refusing to fake certainty about the most important claim of his life. A week later, Jesus appears again, and this time Thomas is there. Jesus does not shame him for the demand he made. He walks straight to him, offers his open hands, and tells him gently to stop doubting and believe. Thomas does not even need to touch a thing. He looks at Jesus and says the words, "My Lord and my God," one of the strongest declarations of faith in the entire New Testament, spoken by the one disciple everyone remembers as the doubter. Jesus adds one more line, that blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed. That is not a jab at Thomas. It is a forward-looking blessing over you, someone who was never going to get to place a hand in his wounds and believes anyway. So if you have ever needed more than a nice feeling to believe, you are in good company. Bringing your real questions to Jesus has never been the opposite of faith. In John chapter 20, it is exactly what faith looked like for one of his closest friends. Here is something worth sitting with today. What is the honest question you have been afraid to say out loud, even to God? Type it in the comments if you are willing, not the polished version, the real one. Long before Thomas or that desperate father, King David wrote an entire prayer out of raw doubt. Psalm 13 does not open with praise. It opens with a question that sounds almost too honest for church. "How long, Lord, will you forget me forever?" David writes. "How long will you hide your face from me?" He names his sorrow and his wrestling thoughts without softening a single word of it, right there in Scripture that people still read today. David does not stop at the complaint. He keeps talking to God through it, asking him to look, to answer, to give light to his eyes. Honest doubt in the Psalms was never a wall between David and God. It was the road he walked to get closer to him. By the final verses, something has shifted, not because his circumstances changed, but because he stayed in the conversation. He writes that he trusts in God's unfailing love, that his heart rejoices in his salvation, and he ends the psalm singing to the Lord who has been good to him. You are allowed to pray like that. You are allowed to say how long to God about the diagnosis, the empty chair, the prayer that still feels unanswered. That kind of honesty is not weak faith. Psalm 13 suggests it might be some of the strongest faith there is. So how should we treat someone else who is wrestling the way you might be right now? Or the way that friend at church is, the one who always seems so sure of everything? The book of Jude gives a short, clear instruction for exactly this. In chapter 1, verse 22, Jude writes, "Be merciful to those who doubt, not correct them harshly, not question their salvation, be merciful." That means the next time someone quietly admits they are struggling to believe, your job is not to fix them on the spot or panic on their behalf. It is to sit with them the way Jesus sat with Thomas, patient, present, unafraid of their honesty. Even the prophet Habakkuk questioned God directly, asking how long he would have to call for help before God would listen, and why God seemed to tolerate injustice all around him. God did not silence him for asking. God answered him. Every one of these people, the father, Thomas, David, Habakkuk, brought God the truth instead of a performance. Not one of them was punished for it. Every single one was met, and every single one walked away closer to God than they were before. Picture that same person at church, still nodding along, still saying the right words. Now picture them finally whispering the real prayer instead, the one that says, "I believe, help my unbelief." Something in their chest loosens the moment they stop performing and start being honest. God has never once been intimidated by your real questions. He is not waiting for you to arrive with perfect certainty before he will listen. He is waiting for you exactly as you are, doubts included, because honest doubt brought to him beats confident-sounding words that hide what is really going on inside. Lord, I believe, help me with everything in me that still doubts. And thank you for never turning away from my honesty. If this gave you permission to bring God your real questions today, that is what Rooted Daily is here for. Subscribe for more honest, practical conversations about growing in faith, and we will see you in the next one.